All right, so for folks that are new, and a reminder for the folks who aren't, well, that last deck is a deck that I've been working on a lot that I really enjoy, but a majority of the decks that we play on this stream are viewer-submitted ideas, and if you're interested in getting your deck played on a stream at some point in the future, be sure to check out bit.ly/HugelSellup for full details, or you can go to my website, magicesports.net, and there's a link up there that'll help you get that sorted. This next deck is actually a list that's very similar to the green-black aggressive deck that we played earlier this season. This one has a red splash instead of black, though. Now, one big downside that we have with a red splash as opposed to black is that we have a life gain land instead of a temple, and temples are just really powerful. Seeing that extra card every game, it gives you a lot more consistency. That being said, outside of the mana base being slightly worse, a lot of these red cards are pretty good. We've got 3 copies of Shock. We've got some Domris, which is an accelerant as well as a piece of interaction. Gruul Spellbreaker is just a fantastic aggressive card against various planeswalkers and just applying lots of pressure. And then we've got some Skarrgan Hellkite here at the top end as well, which can let us kind of use some of our extra mana and also be another aggressive threat. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here with this green-red aggro deck and see how that goes. Green-red aggro. So I see Alpine Moon, I've seen this, and Blood Sun sideboarding against me. Yarak, mine, if I ask why you chose Alpine Moon over Blood Sun. This is a viewer-submitted deck list, and they must have chosen Alpine Moon. Croaker, thanks for the 8 months, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. There's ups and downs to both Alpine Moon and Blood Sun. So the biggest up to Blood Sun is that it turns off Blast Zone, because Blast Zone can be used to kill your Alpine Moon. Alpine Moon's more resource efficient though. Our first hand here on the play is very, very good. Turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Domri. Oh, turn 3 Nissa. Turn 2 Domri into second Elf. Turn 3 Nissa on the play. Oh no! Whatever will I do? Oh, this isn't even fair. This is. This is gross. This is all I've got. Your turn. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's only downhill from here. Ain't that the truth? Oh, I can't undo 2 floatings? Whatever. Oh, I could have. Did I miss? I missed. I could have made mana with this and not tap the elf. So I missed 2 points of damage here. So I could have put them to 1 there. Yep, yeah, exactly, Mulv. They put the least amount of effort possible into their new non-rotating format. They basically only created this new non-rotating format because they were obligated to give people something to do with their cards, because you can't dust cards in Arena. My opponent's playing mono black something or other. Not really sure what they're doing, so just gonna board in some extra threats and trim some of this cheaper spot removal. It's probably not very good. So basically they gave it a name, and they said there might be a constructed event for it. Tapped green source and both of our basic mountains. I think this is a mulligan. Oh no. Not green red gates, chat. I'm gonna keep this one. Nah, I think this is better. So it's a low bar, but I think this is better. They brought in Duress against me. Or maybe Duress is in their main deck and they just didn't board it out. One Love, thank you for the 3/4 of a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think we're binning the Hellkite here. So we're just pretty far off from casting it. I think my creature is pretty likely to die here next turn, so I'll just smack them for 3 before it eats it. That's a reason to make a 4/4. This like have another 1/1 blocker. So I can like triple block this. Alright, the extra land here is not even a terrible draw. It means I get to go ahead and do this, and the next turn I can play and activate this. Yeah, I agree, Cathadan. Honestly, it's okay, and to kind of show that I think I can be pretty objective here, I may not like the fact that they're waiting to introduce Kaladesh, but on Wizards of the Coast part, I think it is a smart business decision to wait for them to make Historic interesting. So Standard makes Wizards the most money, and if they make Historic interesting at the same time as Standard rotates, that's when Standard's supposed to be the most exciting. They basically don't want to draw focus from their premier product by doing this other thing. I don't know, Crazy Chimp. I feel like any person who defines themselves as a Christian who is voting for the party that's enabling Trump is, I can't, like, the cognitive dissonance that you have to be experiencing to identify as a Christian and be willing to enable Trump is just baffling to me. Like, the person who, like, has cheated on several of their partners and, like, all this other stuff. Like, that, it's just, Trump's probably the furthest thing from a Christian as you can get as far as a presidential candidate we've ever had. Yeah, Gabi, did you do that intentionally? Please don't clear things in the future. And like, you personally might not be enabling, you might not view your vote for someone else in the Republican Party as enabling Trump, but that's what it's doing. Like, if you look at the number of Republicans who have stood up to Trump, I can count them on a single hand, right? It's one, right? Justin Amash is one, and I don't agree with Amash's politics, but I can respect him as an individual for actually standing up for what he believes in. We're never beating this Liliana from here. Cathadan, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. What was it? Trevor Noah on The Daily Show on Comedy Central, he had reposted a video where he had Lindsey Graham on during the Republican primary for the 2016 election, and the things he said about Trump versus how he acts today, it's so night and day. None of these people have any spines or any sort of actual morals. They're just blowing whichever way the wind blows and keeps their party in power. Correct. Yep. You're fine. I really don't mind Twitch chat. I really don't mind, sorry, Twitch chat. I really don't mind Twitch staff members in the sub-only chat. Cathadan, it's really not a big deal. I do appreciate the support, though. And, like, in my mind, just to show you that I'm not someone who's just, like, mono pro-Democrat in everything they do, one of the things I really like, if you're not familiar with the party of people called the Justice Democrats, they're the people that helped get AOC elected. They're primarying incumbent Democrats who they view as not representing the values that they want to see in their political party. But there aren't people doing that on the Republican side. Like, they're just like, yeah, this is it. We just want to stay in power. Like, that to me is one of the big differences. There's actually people on the left fighting to take that money out of politics and stuff like that. Mono Democrats deck? How does that compare to Black Red Aristocrats? All right, so what are we supposed to do here? So I kind of don't want to play out the Growth Chamber Guardian because I kind of want to wait till 5 mana so I can play and activate it in the same turn. I think I just want to play Thorn Lieutenant. Although it could be right to just play Spellbreaker as a 4/4. Although saving this as a haste creature post sweeper is not a terrible idea. Like, next turn could be a Ritualist turn. Oh, Vivien would get more Growth Chamber Guardian, that's true. Yeah, maybe I should have played Vivien and just, I think I need to go wide here a little bit. A spot removal spell here is really good for us because a spot removal spell implies they're not going to Ritualist us next turn. Because if they were going to Ritual, they wouldn't play a spot removal there. All right, so now that I have 2 creatures, I'm going to play this Vivien and diversify the power a little bit.
Nature will take back what rightfully belongs to it. This'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree, Numza. Not only would a real anti-abortion stance include good sex education and female health services, but it would also be a person who's really pro-life is going to be pro-healthcare and pro-early childhood education and all these other things that are actually good for the family.
I need to hone my skills.
Like these things that actually like get people anti-death penalty. Yeah, like don't just write it off as the people who aren't for those other things. They're not really pro-life. They're just anti-abortion and pro-controlling women. All right, so I think we're just like playing hasty creatures and attacking, right? Hungry hippo. So they're going to 11 here. We're attacking for 8, and we have another 3-power haste creature. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see them chump block the 4/4 here. In Denver, they gave out free IUDs to young and low-income women, which reduced the number of abortions by 42% and improved the socioeconomic status of participants in the program. Yep. The problem with that, Chuck, is that facts and data have an inherently liberal bias, so you can't really use them in a conversation. They just like put Barker into play here. So this card comes into play with a 1/1 counter, and we can pay 1 to like make it hexproof. So this is probably gonna smack them next turn. Ooh, that's actually really bad for us if they have a swamp. Yeah, that's brutal. Oh, I guess this can't hit this. Okay, it's not too bad. I was thinking this would kill this and I have to protect it, but it doesn't actually. Think we just Steel Leaf Champion here. All right, as someone who doesn't mind political discourse on occasion, let's veer off of the topic for the rest of the afternoon. I appreciate it, Hoaglandia. That trade is really good for us. I'm gonna play this. Now the real question is, do I want to play this out into a potential sweeper? The problem with this is I don't get a friend. I think I want to wait and find him a friend. Listen, yeah, if you want to talk about other controversial opinions, all I'm going to say is there's two types of people in the world. People who like pineapple on their pizza and people who are wrong. Fight me. Peanut butter on pizza. I don't think I've ever, as an overweight American, I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself that I've never put peanut butter on my pizza before. Do you put anything specific on there with it, or is it just like peanut butter, cheese, and like sauce? I think we're dead, chat. Our opponent's mono black deck is kind of sweet. It actually looked pretty similar to the list we played on stream yesterday. Go to the next level. The peanut butter is the sauce. I think we're dead here. I'm just not beating this and this pumping out. Came close there. It's possible I was a little bit too conservative in the early game. We ended up coming up a few points short at the very end there. So it's possible I should have been a little bit more aggressive. I'm in Florida for a few weeks from Canada, and the people at the office I'm visiting have never tried poutine, so I'm picking up some nice cheese skirts tomorrow and going to wow them. Nixon Beta, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. I think I'm going to keep this hand. Double tap land kind of sucks, but the spells are good. Shock is good. Pineapple Pizza Crew. Yeah, look at that. Got the big old tip from the Pineapple Pizza Truth. I could imagine something like Thai peanut pizza might actually be okay. Yeah. I'm a big fan of peanut butter and stir fry. That's something I definitely really like. Main deck Leyline. Who hurt you, opponent? What was their name? What did they do? So I'm actually gonna shock this in on one, because I feel like Healer Hawk means a Johnny's Pride Mate, and I have a very small window in which this deck can kill a Johnny's Pride Mate. Yes, fist pump, we're so smart and thin. Get out of here. Main deck Leyline is step 3 in a 5-step program of learning how to deal with thought erasure in standard. Oh. Little Caesars is good. I can't remember the last time I had Little Caesars. I don't mind cheap pizza too often. I don't mind like Domino's on occasion. Is some Christy likes really terrible food on occasion. Like we eat too much Taco Bell and we occasionally get Domino's. So Domino's I can stomach on occasion. Now what's it called? Papa John's pizza is like about as edible as dog food though. Papa John's is real bad. There was the only pizza available at the place where I worked for a little while after grad school was Papa John's. It was real bad. Yeah, and the owner is terrible. So like the fact that their product is also trash is like, you know, you don't feel bad about it. What do I get from Taco Bell since you're a vegetarian? Life hack. Most vegetarians out there probably know this, but Taco Bell is actually the most vegetarian-friendly fast food place because you can replace the meat on anything with beans. So as a vegetarian, you can get anything you want off their menu. Pizza. I can't remember the last time I ate Pizza Hut pizza. Is Pizza Hut cheap? I feel like Pizza Hut's not that cheap, but I don't recall. The crackling, or the quasi-duplicates were not very good. I'm still not sure where I feel about Thought Erasure and Growth Spiral. Hey, thanks for re-upping that Prime Mojo. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Pizza Hut does a buffet. Is there anything more American than all you can eat, chat? There's not.
You must be mad to tussle with me.
Should I keep playing Domri's as kill your thing, gain a life?
More getting pushed around.
Pizza with mashed potatoes and gravy on it. There was a place on the East Coast that did mac and cheese pizza. That was actually pretty good. Dessert. Okay, so here's the thing about dessert pizza. Can we just like call a spade and be like it's a pie? Dessert pizza is just pie. Fight me. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's not pizza. It's not pie if it doesn't have a pastry crust. Is that the required definition of pie? Can I get a judge ruling on the definition of pie? I feel like, can we literally get a flavor judge here? I feel like we need a literal flavor judge. Judge! Tell me how I'm supposed to feel. All right, so my opponent's deck's like kind of aggressive, so I think we're just bringing in more sweepers and spot removal. Yeah, I want to leave the Viviens in because they're kind of spot removal. A baked dish of fruit or meat or vegetables typically topped with a base of pastry. It says typically there. That's not a hard and fast rule. Would you believe that there's a sweet modern Grand Prix happening right now and I have no way of watching it? I mean, you could have technically flown to Minneapolis, right? That would let you watch it. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. I feel like that one's probably not on the music playlist. Is Marty still here? That one's for you, Marty. That one's just for Martin. Bishop of Wings. Yep. Most dessert pizzas I've had have just been cookie cake. A cookie cake? That's not a pie or a pizza. Oh, I'm so confused. You have to have 25 life for this to get bigger. Oh, it gives them 1 extra. Nice. Nice. This is the part where you just stare deeply into their soul and you're just like, block me, I dare you. It's already on the list. I'm gonna attack with both of these. Alright, and they just took that hit. So we're probably flame sweeping next turn. DeBrian, thank you for the 26 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Please play into Johnny's Pride, mate. Please play into Johnny's Pride, mate. Watch them cast, like, Revitalize in response. Just make us very sad. Is pizza pie is the same argument for is a hot dog a sandwich? Fair. Is cereal soup? That's a... I guess you can have hot cereal, right? Is soup required to be warm? Maybe soup's not required to be warm. I need more strict definitions of these things. I need more strict definitions of things. You are a monster. Oh, I forgot to change my colors for this. Slacking, Chad. I'm slacking and nobody called me on it. In NYC, I think pizza is actually a taco because you're supposed to fold the slice in half to eat it. Shots fired. Shots fired. As someone who lives in a town that has a Giordano's and enjoys it frequently, I wanna be able, if you can't snorkel in your pizza, is it even really pizza? We ate at a pizza place in Indianapolis while we were there for Gen Con, and I ordered a deep dish pizza, and Christy got something else because she didn't want to eat deep dish pizza. And when it got there, I was like, oh, Christy would have totally eaten this. Having 2 of our shocks this game is, like, pretty good for us. I think I want to kill this and just play a Steel Leaf. I think I'm just gonna Hydra here. Am I? Nah, I'm just gonna make 4/4s. This card's so good in the aggro matchup. When I played the green-black version of this deck, I felt like we were pretty ahead against vampires. I wouldn't be surprised if this build also feels that way. This card's pretty good in this match. Well, it's a big brick wall to block, but like it's basically unblockable. There's a definitive guide on how to identify things as different types of food. That's, I believe you. Oh no! It has Death Touch. Man, Death Touch sounds like cheating, chat. Have this fight this so they gain one less. So we got a 5/6 Trampler, a 4/4, and then a 4/4 that's gonna find another 4/4. I really love this card in general. I'm sad that like 3-mana Teferi made it pretty unplayable. It's like a really sweet creature, just like good in every matchup. I love when my 2-drops have card advantage stapled to them. It's a desirable feature in my opinion. So I want the Lava Coils, I want the last Shock, I think I want the last Hellkite. I think I want to cut some number of my Planeswalkers here, because they're a little bit clunky. Vivien and Domri are like both, soft removal spells. Maybe Domri's a little bit better just because he's cheaper and he also generates mana for me. You can see that. One Fry is probably fine here. I don't love Flame Sweep in this matchup because while they have a lot of things that start at 2 toughness, between Sorin and like the Knight getting bigger, I feel like a lot of their things grow out of range of this pretty quickly a lot of the time, especially when we're on the draw. So, like, Shock is fine because it's efficient in terms of mana, but Flame Sweep's a little bit. Oh, Brontodon is just a body, could be okay. 3/4. 3/4 is okay. I could see that. How does it feel to have the power to change the topic of conversation so thoroughly? I mean, this job is very egotistical, right? Someone had said in chat the other day, they appreciated that I was incredibly humble, and I was like, I had to disagree with them. I almost feel like in order to do this job successfully, like you can't be too terribly humble, right? Like something about like getting up here and like performing. Like, you kind of don't do this unless you think you're good at it a lot of the time, right? I feel... I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. No 1 or 2 mana plays is interesting. Strong strategy. What are the odds they have... What are the odds they have a Noxious here? Probably high. I submit your emotional reaction when you read the start of my message, which was, I think you're wrong about that, Jeff. I mean, so like, part of it too is, and I think part of it, oh, they have Midnight Reaper. Their build of Vampire is probably a little bit different than the stock build. I've not seen Midnight Reaper in these configurations. I think part of what passes off as humble in today's society is the fact that, like, I'm willing to say when I don't know something, which I think is something a lot of people just, like, aren't willing to do for whatever reason. Like, admitting you don't know something is seen as, like, a point of weakness or failure. I think I'd actually read your messages, please. Yep. You're fine, wife. I love you. Read your messages, please. So do I want to deploy this, or do I want to deploy a Llanowar Elf? I kind of don't want this to die, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And just plan to shock something this turn as well. So I'm electing to not attack with the Llanowar Elf because I want to use it to make mana. To fart this Growth Chamber Guardian. And now, if I hadn't drawn another one of these, I'd probably wait on this because they can kill it in response now. But because I have another one, I'm kind of okay with this just eating it here. I'm not quite sure if they're playing like a non-stock vampire list there, if their draw just didn't come together. I guess they have 7 lands in play, right? They probably just had another land or 2 in their hand. Flooded out of touch. I wouldn't be surprised if this deck's pretty reasonable against vampires, though. So one of the things that people, I feel like people often talk about is that a lot of people define a good format as a format where you play against a ton of different decks. And as someone who really likes to brew, I actually think wide open formats are a lot worse for brewing in compared to more narrow formats, because a more narrow format where you can predict what you're going to be playing against in most of your matches is much easier to attack. When you're playing in a wide open format, the only way you can really brew meaningfully is to, like, play something super linear. Whereas, like, in a more narrow format, you're like, all right, I just gotta, like, check my boxes to be competitive. Hey, Symptomish, thank you for the very generous tier 3 resub. I appreciate the 6 months of support. Saturday stream hype indeed. And he's gone. So a card like Blink of an Eye there is why I elected to put one of the counters on my Llanowar Elf, just in case this got interacted with. I just read the cube theory of sandwiches, and I think my favorite part was that a vanilla soy latte is actually 3-bean soup. Sinpri, thank you for the 16 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. What would I main board to deal with Field of the Dead in this archetype? I would be more aggressive. Kill your opponent. Like, if you want to really hedge, you could probably play like more Hellkites main, so that way you can be more aggressive and fly over the top of them the turn they scape shift. Oh, I think I punted. I could have fetched a Brontodon and killed this. That was the line. The line was fetch Brontodon, kill this Reclamation. I could still fetch Brontodon here, but I can't blow it up this turn because I only have 3 mana.
How you've grown.
Blood Sun's okay. So the problem with Blood Sun is that it just gets bounced by 3 mana Teferi the turn before they combo you. Hopefully we get another turn. If we get another turn, Vivien can fetch Brontodon to kill this. I definitely think I should have done that this turn instead of playing the Nissa, because Nissa didn't kill them and it would still kill them next turn, so I think that was a mistake on my part. My opponent's not very likely to win the game from here, but it's definitely possible. Improbable, but not impossible. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can play this and deal 2 this turn. So that's not enough to kill them. So I probably want to just get this guy.
Nature's always got my back.
Would you ever play Field of the Dead in paper? Yeah, actually. So when I played on the SCG tour a lot, a big part of why I was able to do well with a lot of B and D list decks was because I'm very good at managing and interpreting large board states quickly in paper. A lot of people lock up and just don't know what to do when they're looking at a really large board state. I'm pretty good at managing that. That's a key reason why I was able to win with Kiki Cord during Eldrazi Winter. Ty Glorious, thank you for the 3rd of a year support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so I have 3 Viviens. Am I supposed to leave a Brontodon in the board to fetch with Vivien? Did we do sleep training? No, nothing formal. Our kids are pretty good about sleeping through the night. I think I do this. Ceratops a little more aggressive than this. This seems fine. Dude, Light, coming in hot with the big tip. Happy Saturday. You said your deck Q are low. So here's 3 really bad combo decks. 15 as agreed and the extra 5 because I love your content. Sounds good. Dude, Light, it looks like there's only 2 deck list links in your comment, though, here in my dashboard. So if you want to DM me and make sure I have links to all 3 of those. I'd appreciate it. The last donation cut off the last deck. Here it is. Thanks for the support. I'm gonna bounce my elf. That was, far more rude than bouncing my elf. Rough.
To the library.
What are you doing, Arena? Stop it. All right. Every patch brings us closer to Magic Online, chat. That was the Aether Gust. Maybe we need to restart. All right, really want to draw lands for the next 2 turns. Part of me wanted to break out into singing the Sounds of Silence there, but it really, that really wasn't the sound of silence, huh? Was this is the sound of loud? Don't gust my elf, stop it, have a heart. This is so incredibly rude. Feel like we're probably dead here. Yeah, this Llanowar Elves has been through some stuff. Life has not been kind to our Llanowar Elves. Maybe we'll be fortunate and they're all dressed up with nowhere to go. This is up to 3, so I can't just play this out and hope to untap with it anymore. So I guess we'll do this. That's a heck of a noise. Sound bugs aside, I actually really like a lot of the audio design in Arena.
Every story is an opportunity for new data. Let me aid your research.
This is naming Nexus of Fate, I assume. Swing and a miss. Sweet. Really hoping to draw an untapped land here. They discarded a Root Snare. So I assume the fact that they discarded a Root Snare means that my combat's not happening this turn. And then, like, Tamiyo's just, like, sitting here in play, like, gonna rebuy Root Snare for the next 2 turns. Alright, I've had enough. I am not sad that Nexus of Fate has largely fallen out of. The Wilderness Reclamation Nexus deck has largely fallen out of popularity. That's kinda miserable. I think that's a good example of the kind of matchup that's like really hard for this archetype. So where this deck, and kind of why I moved away from the green-black Stompy deck, kind of fall in Standard, is that this is what I refer to as like a big aggro deck or a brunch deck. It's like not quite aggro, not quite lunch. Like, I don't think you can classify this quite as mid-range, but this isn't anywhere as near as low to the ground as something like, say, Vampires or White Weenie or Red Aggro or Mono Blue that like have a bunch of 1-drops in it. So that means decks like this tend to be very reasonable against those slightly smaller aggro decks because we have large creatures that allow us to both close quickly and beat the opponent in combat a lot of the time. Where that makes us come up short, however, is against a lot of decks like Nexus of Fate and Scapeshift, which we can't get under them successfully, and they just have a much more incredible late game than we do. Now, this deck in particular has a bunch of Flame Sweeps here on the sideboard to let us try and punch through those last few points of damage against Scapeshift, and this doesn't get blocked by zombies, so sometimes you can steal games there, but I think on average against Nexus of Fate, there's not a whole lot we can do. You could, like, jam a bunch of Cindervines in the sideboard, but even that's not going to be good enough a lot of the time in the post-board games where those Nexus decks are able to board into things like Nissa that end up winning the game a lot more quickly. Yeah, it's tough. So, like, if you're playing a green-red aggro deck, the 2-color aggro decks have a hard time a lot of the time with their mana, and, like, the black-red Aristocrats deck's a good example of that, right? Like, that's a 2-color aggro deck's, like, trying to play a red-red card on 3, and it's like, you end up as not being super consistent in your mana base as you'd like to be. Those decks tend to have a little bit more reach than this does, too. We got a good number of people in here.